Ahoy there, oh radiant particles. We use your nautical terminology because we will talk about sailing on the seas of fate and how to plunder the treasures from your artificially imposed illusions. How to find wind in the becalmed seas. First, we will talk about structure. Artificially imposed constructs. And we tell you that since you have started writing down your language, you have made things inflexible. When language was only spoken, it was a resonance and could flow with life. But once it is written down, it becomes unchangeable. And especially so since you started writing down your laws and your codes. And even more so since you invented companies and their structures and artificial codes. And this has imposed upon society. And you are born into society that is structured. And you become moulded by those structures, taught those structures in your education systems. Artificial constructs. And all these structures are toxic to real life. They do not move and change easily. What we relate today, our conduit was going to perform in his unassisted fashion until we reminded him that it was we who gave him the inspiration before he even knew we were here. And in those structures, your memory systems have also become structured. And when you want to remember something, you look into the structure. Like a giant multi-dimensional database, where you have memories of when you have been at work. You have memories of where you have worn that red top. Memories of when you have done this and when you have done that. And you have entered these all in the database of your memory by structure. And that has removed the fluidity that should be there. For the memory really works on a resonance, on feeling. The feeling of a small child looking up at its parent has the same feeling of an adult looking up at a large building. There is an essence there, a vibration, a resonance, a feeling that has a similarity. But in your structured memory, that similarity disappears. So there is much difficulty sorting out your structure. And when the storms of emotions blow, and you search for the reasons why, very often you do not see them. You look for other similar occasions other occasions of related structure, instead of looking for a related feeling. You can see structure and understand the structure, but that does not make the storm go away. Only finding the feeling takes you to the root of the storm, the eye of the storm. For the first time you ever experience anything, you have a feeling about it. And there is only ever one first time for all your feelings. And the next time you have that feeling is always the next time and never again the first time. So everything relates back to the first time of every feeling you have had. And that feeling has a causal relationship throughout your life. A line of interconnected feelings flowing through your life. Feelings that at one time were a choice by you and become imposed by you upon yourself as a belief system that projects itself out into your perceived reality to confirm that your beliefs in those feelings were correct. So the occasions to have those feelings keep returning. And as in your structured system, you cannot change anything unless you get to the point where the choice was made. You know, in your councils and your companies and your judiciary and your governments, unless you can talk to the one who has the power to change the choice, no change happens. And the same with you, unless you get to the point where you made the choice to have a belief, to have a feeling. It is beyond your power to change it. We can see this in two perspectives. One, in your perception of time, that the choice exists in your life track. Very often made in early years, when you were not evolved or developed enough to make the choice wisely, not knowing enough context to understand what the choice was. And like your contracts in business, if you did not understand the contract when you signed it, it is null and void. If the contract was not revealing all that it implies, it is null and void. But as long as you believe you have signed the contract, you feel imposed by it. So in your life you have to go back and revisit all your contracts that have been your choices and your beliefs. Or when you go to the root, the core, the first cause, and make the change there. That change resonates through all the life track and changes you in the now. And with your feelings, if you're only looking at structure You are not owning the feeling. You have been taught to deny pain and suffering, to hide it, to take an aspirin to make it go away, to divert yourself so you do not see it, to run away from your pains. And yet when you run away from your demons, they chase you and eventually track you down and appear again. But we tell you, you are greater than any of your demons, greater than any of your suffering, greater than any of your pain, for you have contained them all. You have survived them all. You are bigger than them. And you always have the choice to change them. But to do that first, you must own them. You must face the demons and your sufferings and your pain. To look deep into the pain. Accept it for what it is. And only in that acceptance do you have ownership. And instead of running away, when you look at the pain, ask, is there more? I am surviving you now. Give me more. How much have you got? Can you hurt me more? For you know that you will still contain it. For you are always greater than your pain, greater than your suffering, greater than any demons you may imagine. So look this pain straight in the eye. It cannot harm you. It is just a vibration. Accept it and own it for what it is. For only in ownership do you have the right to make the change. And you find that when you look and ask for more, and take all that it gives you, and know that you are still greater, you can then look and see that it is a vibration, a resonance. And you can choose a different resonance. When you get deep into the suffering, ask it what shape it is. What colour is it? How does it sound? What is its vibration? For feeling is a vibration, it is a resonance. And if you focus and meditate into this resonance and see it for what it is, own it and know it, then you can choose a different resonance. And you can find in this way, you can find healing within yourself. You can smooth those resonances out. For pain and suffering are nothing but jagged tones, and they can be smoothed and made more peaceful. And when you do that, the circumstances, the structures that they have been symbolized as, that they have been representing themselves as in your lives, will also change. And now to the technique that we gave our conduit some years ago now. To get back to the first cause. For many have forgotten your early lives. The painful memories have been hidden. So if suffering or pain appears in your lives now, if you do as we have said and get to the core, the resonance of them, and ask yourself, when have you previously felt this way? If you can, turn off the mind of the thoughts and just seek the feelings, and you will find other occasions when you have felt this way. It does not matter if the structures in which those feelings appeared are different. The circumstances that cause those feelings may vary quite dramatically, but the feeling will be continuous. So search back through your life track to those occasions where you remember having the same feeling. Follow the feeling back through your life, for it has always begun with that first cause and has found expression in many ways, a continuous track throughout your life, so you can always follow it back. And here is the technique. Once you have collected a series of experiences where the feeling is the same, where you recognize that feeling, you can start at the moment now and go back through the sequence of experiences of that feeling, recognizing the continuity of that feeling in all of them. Study them all so you can glance at them and know them for what they are. So you can symbolize each example in a glance. And starting at the moment now, follow the sequence of memories back, the sequence of feelings, the continuity of feeling back, as if you are running back through your life, through your sequence of memories, until you come to the first you can remember. And then, without expectation of the mind, but holding on to the continuity of the feeling, let go. It is as if you have built up a momentum, starting in the moment now and running backwards through your life, following that feeling. And when you come to the end, where you have no more memories, hang on to that feeling and just keep running. Follow the feeling. And you can find other memories appear to you along that life track. Repeat. Follow the whole sequence back, as if you are running through your life, and when you come to the end, let go. And if you really hang on to the feeling, ultimately you will end up at that first cause, which you may have previously forgotten. The first cause will represent to you, and you may revivify it, experience it again. An early memory in your childhood, in your babyhood, or even in previous incarnations. And when you do know, you have perspective now, and you can love the one that made that choice. See the relevance in the context of that choice. Understand the contract that you made with yourself without the full awareness of what it was. And in that you have choice and can choose to make the feeling different. And when you love that younger part of you with compassion, you can heal that younger you. And in healing that part of you, that healing, that compassion, resonates through that same life track that you followed back to find it, and heals you in the now. And all the sufferings and negativities you have felt along that particular life track are healed, and the consequences of them change, and your life changes around you. So these are tools that you can take ownership of your life with, where you can make the conscious changes to be different. But you have to accept as you are now first. You cannot walk forwards unless your feet are standing on the ground. Until you accept and own who you are in this now, you do not have the right to change. We trust these words may help in releasing yourself from your false beliefs and constructs and contracts that you have made, so that you can choose a more harmonious you. You can choose to be one who has not had these sufferings. For you in this moment now is just a vibration. And when you change that vibration, your life changes around you. It is only habit and hidden beliefs that hold you where you are. And the other side of the same story is that you have descended through infinite layers of consciousness to arrive here. And the life track you have experienced at some level was chosen in those layers of consciousness. So the other way into this is to raise your consciousness to the level where you made that choice. Both directions are similar. For as in your structures, only by going to the point where the choice was originally made can you make a different one. So you can go backwards through your life, or inwards and outwards and upwards to higher levels of consciousness to make the change. Both are great lessons, great learning potential. For in doing this, you'll find more of yourself, more wonders of your own nature. You have your saying, I think, therefore I am. This too is a deception, for you can be without thinking. The reality is, I feel, therefore I am. And when you have removed the restrictions, then truly you can say, I love, therefore I am, for that is your real nature. And the more of that you find, the more loving the world will be around you. So, O courageous radiant particles, we return your joy and your love to you, and wish you greetings.